Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với channel của mình. Mình là An Tư. Hôm nay thì mình khá là vui vì cuối cùng mình cũng đã làm được cái video mà mình mong ước ấp ủ từ rất là lâu. Đó là mời một nhà tuyển dụng đến để nói chuyện, để tâm sự, chia sẻ về những kinh nghiệm tuyển dụng cũng như là đưa ra lời khuyên cho các bạn sinh viên sắp ra trường và đang tìm công việc đầu tiên. Thì hôm nay mình mời đến đây Alena. Alena là Supply Chain Director của Global Retail Hair của Coty. Bạn ấy là leader cho toàn bộ mảng supply planning. Alena là một người rất là xinh đẹp, giỏi giang, thành đạt, nghiêm túc, nghiêm nghị, what else? Cool ngầu nhưng mà rất là thân thiện và giúp đỡ hết mình. Alena có 14 năm kinh nghiệm trong ngành supply chain. Bạn ấy đã từng làm team leader cho rất nhiều team. Từ những ngày xa xưa chỉ có khoảng 2-3 người đến 5-7 người trong team của bạn ấy, thì bây giờ bạn ấy đã có khoảng 30 đến 50 người nếu mình nhớ không lầm trong team. Nghĩa là sẽ phân bổ xuống rất là nhiều team nhỏ nữa. Bạn ấy có kinh nghiệm tuyển dụng khá là phong phú, từ nhân viên mới ra trường cho đến những người có kinh nghiệm và những người gọi là high management luôn. Cho nên là những cái lời khuyên của Alena dành cho tụi mình sẽ là những cái lời khuyên thực sự rất là quý báu. Alena là người mà ảnh hưởng đến con đường phát triển của mình rất là nhiều. Tại vì khi mà mình biết bạn ấy khoảng 4-5 năm trước á, thì mình cảm giác đó là cái hình tượng mà mình muốn hướng tới, nghĩa là một người giống như vậy đó. Cho nên là bạn ấy là một người mà mình rất ngưỡng mộ và luôn muốn noi theo. Thì hôm nay mình khá là vui, mình rất là vui khi mà mình nhờ bạn ấy và bạn ấy đồng ý ngay lập tức để có thể chia sẻ những cái kinh nghiệm của bạn. Thì cái clip hôm nay nó sẽ có một cái structure như là một buổi Q&A. Mình sẽ có khoảng 15 câu hỏi cho Alena và bạn ấy sẽ trả lời. Mình sẽ không có dịch tiếng Việt tại vì nó tốn rất là nhiều thời gian và đôi khi mình sẽ nói tiếng Anh nữa, nhưng mà tiếng Anh của mình nó dở tệ luôn, nghĩa là mình mới nhận ra là nó dở quá dở. Cho nên là các bạn có nghe mà thấy cái gì mà hơi bị mệt tai á, thì cứ bỏ qua đi ha, tại vì mình sẽ không nói quá nhiều tiếng Anh đâu. Bây giờ mình sẽ đến phần Q&A quan trọng nhất ngày hôm nay. Let's go. Okay, so do you want to go straight to the questions, or
you tell me? You are the boss today.
Okay.
So from my experience, when I was trying to think about it, I think that there are 5 main stages that you need to be aware of. And the first stage is screening and shortlist. So this is where the HR is helping recruiting manager to pre-screen the interviews and really give selection. Sometimes in some companies there is no HR support rather than an us. So then it's directly the recruiting manager who is doing this part, but that's essential. And then the second part is from the short list. We select candidates who we invite for interview and interview as such. Interview, you need to be ready that interview can be consisting of few steps, and for fresh starters, so for graduates, normally you would be applying for start level positions where we want to assess some basic skills. So apart from interview where you answer some questions, you would normally go through numeric test or logical test or reasoning test, and you need to know that this is part of interview process. And once interview is done, the group of people who take decision, or the person who take decision, they review the preferred candidates, and the decision actually happens. What is important to know that in majority of companies you need to get approval to hire. So even if decision is done in big corporates, you're not allowed to give an offer before the official approval process, and only then you receive a job offer. So in summary, it's about 5 steps, and it may take between 2 weeks to a couple of months, really.
Yeah.
Well, from my understanding, and also from experience when I was doing training myself, well, definitely the first one is a fit of experience. And of course, for graduates, you cannot expect that there would be a lot of working experience.
Exactly.
In this case, what may count? Relevant education, if you have specialization in this branch. It can be some extracurriculum activity that you were doing. Absolutely any internship that you had a chance to go through before. It will be very and I would also pay attention to languages.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if foreign student is seeking a job abroad. So that's definitely an advantage that they're bringing. And availability. Yeah, so that means, are you currently engaged into any job? How long it would take, or if you need to reallocate, or if you need to do the paperwork. So it needs to be clearly stated in the CV what is your status.
Okay.
And last but not least, if the form of CV or application assumes salary expectation, then that would be also part of pre-screening.
Okay. Yes. So there's something that I didn't know before.
Experience, availability, and salary expectation. I would spend 2 minutes to say no.
Okay.
So if I see clearly that's not my candidate, that's no more than 2 minutes, sometimes even less. So if I'm tempted to say yes to interview, I would probably go through CV once again, but more in detail. So then like up to 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm old-fashioned. So,
okay.
To me, the simpler the structure, the better.
Okay.
And when I was thinking about this question, I think it's very important actually to properly prepare your CV, because at the very early stage, this is 50% of and when I'm thinking what kind of advice I can give to students how to prepare CV, so firstly, it should be simple and friendly format. So as a simple structure, I would go no more than 2 colors.
Okay.
I personally prefer to have a picture on CV, because then you can associate experience with the face. Already there is some human touch in it.
Okay.
Then it is important that chronology in CV is really clear, and it starts from now and goes backwards. So I could see how you were growing, and it's not overlapping unless it's justified. I would prefer to have bullet points experience rather than long text description.
Paragraph.
Yeah, just to draw attention to certain important things. And I think that what is very important, at least for me, is that when you describe yourself and your skills, you do not put very trivial things or like, the classic CV wording. So don't put, for example, proactive. And that was a mistake I was doing at my early career. I thought I was so great and managing everything so proactively. But guess what? What is the opposite of it? So if you're not proactive, you are lazy. Like, who would put that on CV, right? Isn't it obvious that you expect people to be proactive or multitasking or fast decision under tough circumstances? So these are kind of things that a lot of people put on CV just because it's fashionable, or it was fashionable. It's not anymore. So when you think how make your CV outstanding from the crowd, really focus on the skills or experience that would match this particular employer or this particular role. So rather customize your CV for the industry or type of roles that you are applying. And it's fair that you can be applying for various positions, so make this little touch in every of them. And then also think what would make you stand above average candidate. So
Okay.
what kind of skill or expertise or attitude you may have, thinking of who would be the other candidates. So you need to also do this internal benchmarking.
Okay, very clear. Amazing.
It's not true. So, and especially, again, if you are a foreigner seeking job abroad, unless you graduated Harvard or Cambridge, nobody will know what university it is actually.
Okay.
And I think that nowadays, really the way of thinking is more important than how many years you spend studying in certain subject. So university is seen as a school to let you think about problem in a certain way,
Okay.
not as a specific school which gives you answers. Okay, so I think that you need to really look fresh. So it is important that you have a good sleep before you come to your interview.
Okay.
You need to look enthusiastic and have good level of energy, so really positive energy.
Okay.
And I think what is very important, you need to answer yourself a question, why am I here, before you actually enter the interview room. Because then it will be easier for the interviewer to sense your motivation. So why exactly you're applying for this company, for this role, how it fits with your bigger plan. So a very common question. And really almost at every interview you would hear, okay, where you see yourself in 5 years. It's not easy to define, but I think especially for graduates, it's super important because what investment you will do in the beginning of your career may define where you will be in 5 years, really.
Exactly.
I think it's a good tool. I worked with this tool in some companies, and I didn't work with this tool in other companies. I think it simplifies the whole interview process because the paradigm of question and answer is easier to understand. So to me, this tool gives visibility of how structured the thinking process of my candidate is, and how well they can translate this thinking process into a summary in what they are speaking. So this is rather not to also to, of course, assess what is the answer, but to see how well you can structure your speech. Because in many roles you are expected to do reports, to send summaries. For example, in supply chain, you know no worse than me that the more clearer you can state the problem, the easier you would find the solution. So to me, this is really a good tool. And what I would recommend, knowing that in many companies, STAR is really an agreed approach for interview. Think about 2, 3, 4 maximum situations of your positive experience. And then think, okay, to which questions this experience may fit. And then also think about 1 or 2 difficult situations that you went through either in your studies or internship or even in a private life. And also then think, okay, to which questions this may be a right answer. So prepare yourself with a set of 5, 6 situations and the structure for the situation. This will help you really to navigate and just then stay agile to tune it to particular question. Well, first, do not try to find answer if you don't have it. So don't waste time for that, for you, neither for the opposite side. Say openly, nothing comes to my mind straight away. And
Okay.
I ask, could you specify the question, or could you give me an example that I could think of this situation? And it's totally okay.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the great tip. If I know it before, it much would be better.
Well, but I think that you've been so far very successful in your career, so it didn't really damage you, right?
Yes, but yeah, you know, I agree, because I have a great start in Avon, actually.
Yeah, so definitely some practical skills which are very like universal and generic. For example, I don't know, Excel skills.
Okay.
This would be, or any other program which is appropriate for a particular field, right? Mm-hmm. So this would be definitely a big advantage, because very often when we are hiring a graduate, we are fully aware that probably there will be no specific role experience that the person can bring, but then we can say, okay, how we can leverage on what we already have. And as a new generation coming to the market, you are much closer, for example, to technology than my generation used to be. So definitely, I would see as a benefit that person goes through different programs and speaks the same language with the computer, and this is where I can see a benefit for hiring, right? Okay. And as we spoke already, multiple languages. This is absolutely a benefit, because majority of companies operate in a multinational environment. So that would also work. And then think of some specific skill which you may have, which is not directly required in job description, for instance, but it is related to it. So when I think about it, for example, if you studied chemistry,
okay,
and you are applying for a job at production, for example, then you can be a strong candidate for test laboratory, for instance, because you already know all these chemicals and how it works, or procedures, etc. Right? So try to think how your experience and education may be linked with the role which you have. Yeah.
Okay.
Firstly, I would really recommend to do the research on available sources on internet, because in different countries there are a lot of reports and official reports, reports from consulting companies, who would give you more or less understanding of ranges. You put your years of experience and then the area or type of role that you are applying to. So that would be the first part.
Okay.
Secondly, speak to your friends who already have jobs. That never hurts. And then probably for graduates, it is important really to know your minimum, right? You need to be aware that especially in corporates, companies have certain standards of salary assigned to role. So if you name a figure which is lower than the standards, you most likely will get the standard anyway.
Okay.
If you name a figure which is higher than the standard, this may be a decision trigger for negative outcome. So I think that as graduates, do your study, but really think of the standard perspective and of your actual needs. No, I definitely think that that's not just a polite question. And moreover, if person has nothing to ask, I would have doubts why.
Okay.
As said in the beginning, I think you need to be very clear why you are, and then use this question to show your motivation to the employer. I would definitely ask about some role specific if it was not explained before. I would ask about team, because it's not work most likely standalone, and it's important to understand how big is the team, how hierarchy look like. It will also give you some idea of future career growth opportunities.
Okay.
And then also think what is important for you personally. If flexible hours is important, ask about it. If I know, office location is important, company benefits are important. So this is the right moment to ask it. Yes, absolutely, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you how I would make one.
Okay.
So not necessarily every manager would do the same, but definitely the first and the biggest weight would be fit for all, by experience, by skills, and by potential. Because it's also important, and this is the first moment, the interview, when we assess, okay, am I hiring a person for this role, or am I hiring a person for this role with potential to grow to next level? And normally experienced manager already at the first interview. And of course, if I have two candidates equally fit for a particular role, most likely I would hire the one with potential.
Okay.
So this is the first. The second one, the fit for team or for company values. So you know as well that company values is very
important
to particular organization, and very important. So then I would definitely look if there is a compliance here between candidate and the company, because it works for both. Of course, salary expectation is one of the triggers. It's not a trigger. So this is just additional decision-making point in case it doesn't match, for example. Yeah.
Okay.
And absolutely, at least for me, chemistry is very important. So if there is a level of energy during interview and we speak the same language, this is absolutely additional benefit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think why not? So, and I think that's because the role of education as such a little bit shifted. So now for us, education is important to really make people think structurally. And then we really understand that the majority of practical skill come at work. So I'm a teacher of English by education. And and for last 15 years, I've been working in supply chain. So I know it better than anyone. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So as you say, this is an opportunity, and you just expand your options. What I also highlight, don't forget about the candidate referral program. In majority of companies, it works. Think about your network. So whom of your friends or colleagues can recommend you for certain position. I think that this is very important to keep this networking alive. I honestly believe that this specialized jobs are getting more and more important now. Because if you think about industry development, some, I don't know, 50 to 30 years ago, a lot of companies were built to grow margins, to deliver some goods of first necessity to people, and to maximize scale of production. So a lot of big corporates were put in place. We are still alive, and like I'm working for one, you're working for one. This is one, let's say, old-fashioned in a way. There is another list of companies which emerged recently in last 10 years who really care about environment, for instance. And here, I'm sure there are plenty of specialized jobs for biologists, chemists, engineers. You're getting education and you're getting last years of your major. Then you really need to take a choice whether you really prefer to work on some more commercial organizations or on some organizations where you would think of more like caring about like, for example, some ecological solutions to certain industries, right? And choose them based on that. But if you already passed that stage, definitely in classical organizations like cosmetic or food or any FMCG organization in this sector that we are working on, think that this organization is not just an office, it's also production, it's also a lot of other functions. And in every of these little satellites, there would be some application of your skills. So I can think of really a number of those. For example, if you're an engineer, you can start on production. It doesn't mean you need to go physically and work online on the production line, but you can start working in the team of engineers at production site. And then with the big organizations, they are really flexible to move people between departments. So it may not be a team job from the beginning, but it will give you some reputation and practical skills. And then for people with, for example, chemical background, a biological background, if you really want to go into business direction, why not to think, okay, look, majority of goods are made of chemistry, actually. So all the food, all the cosmetics, everything. And then there are functions where this knowledge is really important. For example, if you work in procurement, you need to know what you're buying. You need to understand how it's produced, etc., etc. If you work in planning, you need to understand what is the production process and lead times, but you can't speak about the same chemical ingredients or whatever you potentially were studying, right? And this will be your unique value, which probably offer to the market versus the rest population of candidates who may not have it, right? So definitely, I think that you may find application of your very specific skills in different areas of business.
Stuff that you would like to share to like young generation of Vietnamese people in Poland?
Oh, sorry. I got my battery running out. It means that we need to...
It's come to an end.
Yeah. Well, definitely, I think that if you choose Poland to come and start your career, it's a very good start. I came to Poland 8 years ago, and I think it was a very good decision because there are a lot of companies here. It's a very good market also for students or those who are becoming graduates. A lot of job places, multinational environment as well. And what I can advise, definitely stay yourself. So you don't need to be like someone. You don't need to pretend being someone. Don't think that we are all so serious in corporate at work. So definitely a good sense of humor is also appreciated. And then I think that more and more companies are looking for diversity. So don't think that if you are different than anyone else or majority in certain way, that it will be a disadvantage. No, it will be advantage. And I think more and more employers appreciate it.
Hi Alena, on behalf of the Vietnamese students who are watching this video, I would like to say thank you to you again for all your support, for your time, for your advice to give us really useful information. And it's not only useful for the fresh graduates, but also for me, an experienced one. I wish you all the best in your career path and also in your private life. Thank you. Xin chào các bạn, cuối cùng thì tụi mình cũng đã thực hành xong kỹ năng nghe của ngày hôm nay. Ban đầu thì mình cũng có định làm subtitle bằng tiếng Việt hoặc là dịch qua tiếng Việt hoàn toàn để các bạn nghe có thể dễ hiểu hơn. Nhưng mà thực ra là mình cũng hơi bị lười và mình cũng không có nhiều thời gian lắm, cho nên là mình để nguyên bản bằng tiếng Anh. Mình không biết là các bạn có nắm bắt được hết cái ý chính này trong cái clip này hay không. Nếu như mà các bạn không có cảm giác như là mình không có nắm được cái ý chính của những cái câu trả lời thì hãy comment bên dưới cho mình, nếu để mình biết, rồi mình sẽ có một cái hướng khác. Ví dụ như là mình sẽ có thể dịch qua tiếng Việt, hoặc là cái clip tiếp theo mình sẽ dịch hoàn toàn qua tiếng Việt và mình chỉ chuyển tải lên bằng tiếng Việt thôi. Cho nên là các bạn hãy comment cho mình để mình biết hướng mà làm những cái clip sắp tới nhé. Ok, cảm ơn các bạn đã xem đến đây. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại.